Come here. Give me a kiss. Give me a kiss. I need to wrap some gifts. I did good in the beginning as far as wrapping as I went because I'm really bad to let it pile up and then it's a whole ordeal. So I've not wrapped anything since the one big wrap. And he wants his belly rubbed. He already ate a roll of tape. So yeah, it was fun. Well, I mean, he chewed it all to pieces. He didn't swallow it, thank God. But I was going to answer some questions here too because I've got a lot of comments, a lot of questions, a lot of messages on Instagram, Facebook, things like that, and I've not got back to everybody. So I thought it'd be a good time just to kind of do a little Q&A. After Flashy goes in potties, you gonna go potty? Oh, big boy. You a big boy. You big boy. You gonna go potty? Go potty. Go with mommy. You're not getting tape. Go with mommy.
What is it?
Mistletoe. Kennedy's time from college until the middle of January. It's like semester break, whatever. So she's here for a while. And everyone's asking how she's like in softball and like in college, and she loves it. She's adjusted extremely well. She did get homesick after she'd been there about 3 weeks. She got really homesick, but she's done really good. Do you want to tell them how you're like in college? Do you like your dorm better than here? She'd rather be at school than to be here. Because at school, she don't have any responsibility. When she's here, she has to watch her dog.
I'm
She has to
responsible
help
for
out.
myself. You're not walking through the tripod.
Every time he walks out with a leash, she'll walk through my tripod. So this wrapping paper was a little different, a little festive. But she is liking it. She wants to be an athletic trainer and maybe teach exercise science, something like that, and then like be an athletic trainer, like softball, baseball, football, all that. So that's what she's wanting to do. As far as softball, you're liking softball?
Yeah.
You like your coaches?
Yeah.
They've all got a really good relationship. I think y'all jive pretty good. Do you?
I don't know what that word means.
Like you like all your teammates, your coaches. Coaches are funny, but they're serious when need be. But
I'm funny.
They just clicked. I do think she's changed a lot since she's been away at school, and I think it's not really cool for her to come home anymore. I honestly think she likes it better up there than she does here, and I think because here she has some responsibility. You know, there's times I need you to run to the grocery store for me, or can you go pick your sister up? I'm doing this, and Heather's got a meeting, and Alden's working late. You know, somebody needs to get Allie. Just things like that. I'm just gonna be like really honest, and you may think I'm a terrible parent for saying these things, but I want my channel to always be real. I always want to be transparent with you guys, and I want to let you know that if you're struggling with your kids or if you've got issues, you're not alone. Of course, I'll never tell their personal things. Of course, there's boundaries. I'm just gonna be honest. But she was here last weekend. Her and Allison fuss and argue all the time. So anytime somebody was on her nerves or asked her to do something or whatever, she was like, I'll just go back. I'll just go back. I'll go back to school. I'll go back. She said it so many times. And Heather knew it was ticking me off. And so she said, somebody said something and she was like, I'll go back. And I turned around and looked at her and I said, then go back. But have fun getting there, because whose car are you going to drive? Because that car is in my name, and I pay for that car, and I pay for that insurance, and I pay for that phone bill. And she just sat there looking at me. I was like, you know, you're not some celebrity, Kennedy. I love that you're here and we enjoy you being here, but quit saying that every single time somebody says something to you. Like, if you don't want to be here, you don't have to be here. You're grown. But realize what we do for you. One of you guys asked me if I would tell a little bit about my kids, that they were fairly new to the channel. So I have 4 girls. Lexi is my oldest. So Lexi's 21, Reagan is 20, Kennedy's 18, and then I have Allison at home and she's 12. So Lexi and Hunter dated a couple of years when she turned 18. She turned 18 in January. They got married in April she's been gone and out of the house for a little while. Her and I have always gotten along real well. I will say she's my pickiest child. She was really hard when we'd go pick Easter dresses out, prom dresses, when she was getting married. When she's under any kind of stress or pressure, she's like almost impossible to deal with. I said she was Promzilla, Bridezilla, now she's Pregnantzilla, but she's not as bad. Since her blood pressure has been high, she's really chilled out and done better. And somebody did ask how she was doing, how her blood pressure was doing, and she's doing a lot better. It is a lot better. But when Alden and I got together, she was 2 and Reagan was like 7 or 8 months old. They were small. Their biological dad, that was a whole mess. But when they turned 18, they wanted to see for themselves what kind of person he was, and they seen real quick. So I was just like, you can love both of us. It's okay. It's okay to have a relationship with them. But when they would be around me, they didn't want me to post pictures on Facebook, or they didn't want to let them know that they were around me. And that was ridiculous, because you can love everybody. You can be around everybody. So anyway, they seen real quick that that was just drama. Alden's been great. He adopted them. He's been an amazing dad, and I appreciate that. So Alden stepped up and he took care of those kids and loved them like his own. Never made a difference when we had kids together. He's been amazing. So I was very blessed there. I'll wrap those in a minute. I'm just trying to get everything boxed up. But Lexi was always a good kid. She is the sweetest person you'll ever meet. She would give you the shirt off her back. She is precious. Reagan is my typical middle child, and she and I always butt heads. The kid came out with that personality. Most of the time on the way home from the hospital, you have to make sure the baby's breathing. You're looking at it, all that stuff. No, you knew she was breathing, because she came out screaming, and she screamed until yesterday. I'm going to keep this in the bag and wrap it just so they don't know what it is from this video. But Reagan and I always butted heads. She would sneak out of the house. Our neighbor was a cop and caught her. I mean, looking back on it, it's kind of comical, but it wasn't at the time for sure. But if I have any gray hair, she's the reason I have it. She had to take anger management classes. Best thing that could have ever happened to the kid. She'll tell you a million times over, and sometimes you have to learn through experience, you know, what's important, what's not. You live and learn, and tough love's hard. I'm not saying all of this to embarrass her. We've mentioned it on a live while she was here. We talked about it on a live one time. Don't ever feel like you're alone if you've got a kid that's addicted to drugs. I don't, thankfully. If you got a kid that has an alcohol problem, and I don't, thankfully. But I've been through things with my kids that I'm not proud of. They have made me the proudest of proud, seeing my kids get saved, seeing my kids get baptized, seeing my kids hit home runs, seeing my kids kill it in sports and all these things. The proudest of proud, but they can also break your heart, bring you to your knees. I had always heard, I'm never going to get this stuff wrapped, Lord have mercy. You don't worry about, like your worry don't start with your kids until they're grown, and that's 100% absolutely the truth. But I will say, since all that happened, it completely changed her life, and she's got a really good job now, and she's got her own apartment, and she's learned through life lessons that, you know, you just have to figure it out. And I think she's there. I think she's figured it out, and I'm extremely proud of her. She's amazing. I love her so much. She did struggle in school a little bit. You know, Kennedy breezed through. Out of all my kids, Kennedy breezed through. And Allison is probably second as far as just breezing through. Kennedy is on the dean's list, and she has a 4.0. Kennedy's always killed it. I mean, she's extremely smart. Like she scored like extremely high on her ACT. She's going to college for free. She's extremely smart. Allison is really smart. Allison's done so good. Probably helped them that they do live with a math teacher, but anyway, but Reagan struggled. But out of all of my kids, Reagan's probably got the most common sense, and Reagan is the most caring and the most compassionate. I know when Alden and I separated, Lexi, I told her, told Allison, told Kennedy, really thought Kennedy and Allison have a huge problem with it. They adjusted well, and they knew, they lived in our house, they knew that it was needed. It hurt them, I'm not saying it didn't, but when I told Reagan, she busted up crying, and she was like, I feel like we're ditching him. I mean, she was just tore up about it. So she's got a very tender heart, and you know, they're all just so different. Like Kennedy's, I know a lot of times my older two kids would say, Kennedy got petted, Kennedy this, Kennedy that. No, Kennedy didn't get the discipline that Lexi and Reagan got, because Lexi and Reagan were sneaking out of the house. Reagan was sneaking out of the house, and Lexi was a little snot-head about a lot of things. But Kennedy was very shy, very timid, and she was the kid that if she even thought that she had disappointed us, or if we raised our voice to her, it tore her up. She wasn't a kid that needed a whole lot of discipline. And I'll say now, she's probably a snot-head now, but she wasn't growing up. So anyway, don't know what happened to her. But then Allison, of course, she's 12, so who knows? But I do spoil her, and they say that I spoil her, but they spoil her too. I've learned what matters and what don't, and what battles to pick. And it's just like I've been there, done that, and I know now what is important. And I know how fast it goes by, and how to handle certain situations differently. And you know, it's different with her. And I do spoil her, but they spoil her too, if that makes sense. So there's a little bit about my kids, and I know a lot of you will probably think I'm terrible for saying what happened with Reagan, and Reagan does not mind for me telling you. It's Reagan's testimony, and she has said it on live before. We have told that on live, and she's learned from it. She's grown so much, and she's you know, maybe she can help somebody along the way. And, you know, don't do it. It ain't worth it or whatever. I'm trying to only talk when I've got something covered up. It will be easier to edit all this out, all these gifts out. Because my kids are nosy. They will be screenshotting them, looking. Trust me, they snoop. Lexi opens her presents and wraps them back while I'm gone. They tell me that after the fact. I hate that too, because then the surprises ruined. Why would you want to know before Christmas what you got? But anyway, that's a little bit about my kiddos. Lexi and Reagan weren't really into sports much. They cheered one year. They played softball one year. It just wasn't really their thing. So Kennedy had a speech problem, and Kennedy was very clumsy. She wasn't very coordinated and all that. So one of my friends was like, you should put her in t-ball. I think it would help her make friends and just, you know, with coordination, all this stuff. And I did, and she loved it, and she had to work. She was not naturally athletic. Allison is naturally athletic. Allison added a bunch of stuff to her Shein cart, and I bought it. So she's been dying to look at this stuff, and I told her no. Wasn't really a surprise anyway, so she was going to be at least surprised when she opened it. So I have no idea what any of this stuff is, but I guess she does. Some of this stuff did not even look necessary. Lord have mercy. I know that seems like a lot of stuff, but this was just like $70, everything she had in her cart, so that's not too bad. Somebody did ask me if I do Christmas big, or what do I spend on my kids each, is what was asked. When my kids were growing up, I probably spent maybe $300 a piece on them. Maybe more some years, maybe less, I don't know. His mom would send money, his dad would send money, Alden's mom and dad. And then there were so many, and they would send a pretty good chunk for these kids. So we didn't just go extremely overboard. I would let my kids pick one thing each from Santa, and that was it. Who knows what all this stuff is? I don't even have enough boxes. But I would tell them to pick one thing from Santa, whatever they wanted. Sometimes it was a bigger thing, sometimes it wasn't so big. Just whatever they wanted from Santa, that's what they got, within reason, you know. But I didn't want them to go to school and then be like, what is Santa Claus for you? And then a list like this and this and this and this and this. No. For one, Santa, don't get all the credit. Santa, you know, Santa's nice and all, but Santa, don't get all the credit. And I didn't want my kids going to school and saying that they got a ridiculous amount of things from Santa and other kids sitting there and maybe didn't get what. So that's how we did the whole Santa thing. I feel like Christmas is, I feel like it's not even about Christmas anymore. I feel like it's about gifts, and it's about, like, I want this and this and this, and it's the birth of Christ. Like, I want my kids to always know the reason we would bake a cake every year, Happy Birthday Jesus cake. But I just feel like Christmas has gotten to the point to where it's about getting, like, just spending money or outdoing this one or feeling like you're not enough. I know now I have Hunter and I have Cordell also to buy for. Soon I'll have Lakely too. Okay, so Lexi has Hunter's family and Reagan has Cordell's family, so they buy for them. So I split Reagan and Lexi's with Hunter and Cordell. I spend a good amount on them. But with Kennedy and Allison being here, home Christmas morning, I do get them a few more gifts. I get them a few gifts to open when they wake up before everybody else gets here and we all open gifts together. I always try, like, maybe one kid will have 6 gifts and one kid will have 7, or one will have 5. But I'll never make it to where my kids have 1 and you have 10. I'm not gonna do that. Even with Cordell and Hunter, I don't do that. Even if it's not the same amount of money, it's gonna be close to the same amount with gifts. And I do try to get the money as close as I can. I don't want everybody looking at each other like, really, she spent $1,000 on you and she spent 10 on me. I'm not gonna do that. Last year and the year before we had just moved in this house, I had just left Alden, okay? So my kids were hurting. And Christmas Eve, he stayed the night here. I didn't want him to wake up Christmas morning alone. So he stayed the night here Christmas Eve so he could be with his kids and he could be with us Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So my kids had him. Heather's cat's tearing down the place. Thought that was a wig. I think it's a sweater. Okay. The first year I spoiled them just because I knew they were hurting. I spent way too much on them. This last year, Reagan, she had been on her own. That's when she moved out of here. So she had been in the real world for a while, and I felt like she didn't have a whole lot. I felt like she didn't have a whole lot of clothes and a whole lot of shoes, and I felt like there was just things she needed. I probably did go overboard with her, but it was necessities. It was underwear, it was socks, it was bras, it was shampoo, conditioner. I mean, it was like necessities. So I probably spent a little more on Reagan last year than I did the others, but I don't know, because by the time you add everybody else, that's my thing. Like, I'll look at these gifts and I'll think, well, Lexi has 7 and Hunter only has 4, so I need to go buy Hunter 3 more things. And then I'll go buy Hunter 3 more things, and then I'll think, okay, well, Cordell and Reagan only have 5 things. They need 2 more things. And then I'll go buy them something else. And then I'll think, well, what I've got Reagan and Cordell costs more than what I got Lexi and Hunter. So try to even it up. And that is not what Christmas is about at all. And I've tried to stay away from that this year. I have no idea what I've spent on my kids each. But I do know that they've all got gifts. They're all loved. And they've got way more than they need. I think that they'll all be very pleased with everything we got them. And we're going to eat and we're going to be together and we're going to be a family and we're going to get along and we're going to love each other. And that's just what it's all about. We're going to celebrate Jesus. It's not about the gifts. And I'm not even wrapping this stuff on here just to show you guys, oh, I've got this many gifts already and here's what I'm adding to it. That's not even what it's about. I just wanted to sit down and talk to y'all. I need to get this wrapped. I need to make t-shirts and I need to make some blankets. And I don't know when I'm going to be able to film. So here you go. I just thought, at least, what did I just write? Whose is this? That's why I'm doing this. I get what I can afford. There may come a time that I can only spend $50 a piece on my kids. There may come a time where I'm so well off that I can do more for them. And don't ever feel less than anybody else. Don't ever look at what somebody else has got and compare. And I know that's probably impossible. I know that. I'm tired of Christmas being a money racket, and that's not what it's about. And it's not. And I'm tired of the comparison. You can watch different people on YouTube. I can sit here all day long and watch a few channels and feel this big and feel like a terrible mother because I don't food prep, and because my counters aren't spotless, and because everything in the house is dirty. And you know, I can beat myself up all day long by watching people like that. Comparison is always going to be there, and it's, you know, no matter what. And a lot of why I do share the real with you all is because, just like my cabinets, there's still cabinets that I haven't gone through. That's so embarrassing. And at Thanksgiving, I was giving somebody like a to-go bowl, and I opened that cabinet and I was mortified. And I was like, I need to do this. But then when Mandy asked me to collab, I was like, perfect time. It's going to make me do it perfect. That's why I love you doing YouTube, because I would not do what I do. My butt would be on that couch and I'd be eating, and I'd be 200 pounds again, and I'd be watching TV. YouTube gives me a reason. It gives me a purpose. It gets me up and it gets me moving. But just, you know, the reason I would even tell you all about my struggles with Reagan or any of my kids, Kennedy, Lexi, even Allison. Allison can be a little snothead sometimes. I feel like they don't understand how good they've got it. They don't understand how some kids have to live and fend for themselves and be hungry and be cold. And I feel like my kids have got it so good that they don't even realize it sometimes. And sometimes I have to, just like Kennedy, you know, you want to pay your own car payment? Like, you want, you know, do you realize I pay for that phone? You know, there's times I have to like reel them back in and keep them in check, because, you know, I don't want to raise snotheads. I don't want my kids to feel entitled or arrogant or any of that. At the same time, sometimes I feel like I've killed their confidence by being like that. But, you know, I want to raise kind, empathetic humans, and for the most part, they are. Any of my kids would do anything in the world for anybody. They would be super kind to anybody else. It's me that they're, you know, we ugly butt heads and stuff. But my kids are very kind and very helpful to people. If they thought you were hungry, they would feed you. If they thought you needed something, they would do everything in their power to make it happen. And that makes me super proud. I love my kids more than anything. I do. Through separating from Alden, I wanted my kids to also see that life is too short to live it miserably. And we were both to the point that we were miserable, and my kids were suffering for it. And I wanted my kids to see that no matter how hard it is, and no matter that it seems impossible, you can pick yourself up, you can work, you can make it happen, it's a choice. If you choose to live miserably, then you're going to be. If you choose to get yourself out of that situation and make a better life for yourself, then there you go. And I wanted my kids to see that you can do it. You can do it on your own. And I'm not saying I did it completely on my own. I've always had the help of Alden financially, even with my kids, things around the house, 100%. He is an amazing guy. And I guess that's why I still have him around. I mean, I love him, and he's amazing. And he is a great dad, great person. We just were to the point that I think we didn't even like each other. And we had to learn to build a friendship and to realize what mattered, what didn't, what we were nitpicking over, what we weren't, what this one did for you, what that one did for you. And you had to just get yourself straightened out. It wasn't all him at all. I mean, it was 50-50 completely. And we had to just learn to appreciate each other and to be friends and learn how to communicate without being ugly to each other. And we're there, and loving it. Love it. I know my mom asked me when I first left, she said, "Do you have another man?" And I said, no. Or a woman. No. Anyway, I just want to raise my kids and live in peace. I didn't want my kids holding their ears and crying every single day because we were fussing about something and it got that ugly. Wasn't gonna do it. Tired of it. My kid, it was a choice and it wasn't easy. My heart ripped out of my chest. I thought I'd die over and over every single day, and scared me to death. Woke up one morning and he left for work and we backed a U-Haul up and we loaded it up. Well, just our personal things, and left. And was not easy. I'll tell you what, I thought I'd die. My heart hurt so bad, and my heart hurt so bad for my kids because, you know, through, you all know the whole Heather story and what that cost her and what that cost Kennedy. And every single time I turned around, I was second guessing myself. Did I make the right decision? You know, when you're on the right path, the devil will come at you. If it's easy and smooth sailing, you better recheck what path you're on, because when you're on the right path and you're doing what's right, the devil will try to destroy you over and over and over again. He will. He does me. And if you're a non-believer, or if you don't believe like that, then just skip this. I love you anyway. I love that there's people on here that don't believe or believe differently, and that we're still kind to each other. That's the thing. We can all get along. We can all still be friends. It doesn't matter. I'll respect your opinions and your beliefs, and you respect mine, and we'll go on about it. We're humans. We love each other. That's just the way it is. That's what it is on this channel. Don't care how you live your life. Don't care what lifestyle you're in. Don't care what race you are. I don't care. I love you. We are all, every single one of us, created in his image. So anyway, I don't even know why I got off on that rant. I need a box. Okay, so you never know what you're gonna get in this house. If I have an empty cracker box and I'm out of boxes, they're gonna get this. I mean, it don't matter. This goes in the trash anyway, right? No sense in paying for these when you can. Yeah, let me know if you do that too. My kids will be like, is this really a hair dryer or is this something else? So let's hook her up. Okay. So stay real. Don't be ashamed to show real life, Mrs. Bull, all that. Okay. What flooring did we use in Lexi's house? It is Seashore Wood. It's from Home Depot. It's Traffic Master. It's $27 and some odd change a box. I really liked it. It's water. Oh, I can squeeze more out in there. It's water resistant, scratch proof. The thing about that is, if you damage a piece, if there's a piece damaged, peel it up and put new down. It's no big deal. It's affordable. I like that. Lord have mercy. I mean, I basically did her whole living room for $300. They probably need one more box to finish the living room and a couple to finish the hallway. So we'll get back over there and do that for her soon. I got all of that in this box. Oh my gosh. Saved me probably $2. Don't be ashamed to wrap your stuff in cracker box. So don't change. Always stay real. Listen, if I got on here and started acting like a rich, snooty person, my parents, my dad probably whooped me. He'd probably take his belt off and whoop my hand in. Seriously. I know a lot of people say when you start YouTube, like a lot of people change. And if you look back on their videos, a lot of people have changed. I get that money can go to your head. Okay, I get all that. As far as me, if you go back and watch some of my first videos, I was super cringy, so don't. But I've changed, and I've changed in a way that I'm more comfortable sharing my life with you all. I feel like I overshared in some areas, and then I've got to the point before to where I wasn't really sharing a whole lot of anything as far as personal life. But I feel like you can't really connect and be personable if you don't share some things. And I'm not here to show you how to paint a wall, and I'm not here to try to be like this one or that one on YouTube. I know that's been said too. No, she lost person I'm gonna be like. I want to help people, because I was in a spot to where I was overweight, I was depressed, I felt like I didn't have a reason anymore. My kids were growing up and leaving home, and I didn't have a job, I didn't have an education. What was there for me? And We went through a whole lot of adversity. We were knocked down a whole bunch. We were treated like crap. I lashed back out and shouldn't have. I always tell myself, pray about it for a few days, a week, whatever. Pray about it and keep your mouth shut. Keep your mouth shut until your heart's not bitter anymore. And I have a problem doing that, but I'm learning. But I just wanted to be a help to you guys. The Lord allowed things to happen in my life. He didn't allow it for no reason. And the only sense I can make out of it is that it's a testimony. I can be a help to somebody. I can let you know that you're not alone. I've been to where I scraped to buy groceries, or I would pay on a credit card and check the limit and go buy groceries with it. I mean, I've been there. I have been there. And it's not fun. And I know it's not fun when you're scraping to buy your kids Christmas, but yet you're watching YouTube videos or seeing your family just throwing money left and right. It's not fun. I know that it's not fun. I want you to know that if you're hurting because you're separated or this or that, you're not alone. I want to be a help to somebody. And as many negative comments and messages I've got about me and my kids, I have got messages about my kids and me and everything else. There's way more good and there's way more people saying that I'm helping you, that you love it, than people that are just being ugly. Hurt people. Adults bully. It's not just kids. If it's negative and if it's hurtful, if it's not good and it's not right, I don't want any part of it. But I want to be a help to people. And for those, you know, people say, oh, she's fake, she's this, she's that. If you would ask my mom, my dad, the most honest person in the world, anybody in my family, Debbie, Jim, Heather, Alden, this is just me. I'm not trying to be like somebody else. I'm not trying to make my channel be like this one or that one. Maybe tomorrow God will say, nope, we're done and we'll be done. And I don't know, but I just want what God's got for me. Nothing less, nothing more. I just want every bit of what he has for me, his goodness, and for my kids. And if it's not him, I don't want it. And yeah, so there's that. I will not change. Money doesn't matter to me. I'm not materialistic. I've got more right now than I've ever had in my whole life. I live in a nice house to my standards. I drive a brand new Bronco. I have anything I want, but that doesn't fix you. I'm the same person right now that I was when I had $5 in the bank. Money will not change you. A new house will not change you. A new car will not change you. 15 Christmas trees will not change you. You have to find happiness within you. You can't buy it. It might make you happy for a little while, but then it's old news and then you're stuck with the payment. But I am not materialistic. You might look at me and think that I am, but I am not. I thank God for what I have. I do. I thank God for his blessings, and to be able to be in a spot that I can help my kids and help other people. Heather and I helped someone get school clothes for their kids. We do help people, and don't get on here and film it or share it. That was several months ago. Give back. Let me tell you something. If you give and you help somebody, I promise you the Lord will give it back to you. Okay, Jake. How did Jake pass away? There was a lot of messages. Do you mind telling? So it's no secret. I don't mind telling. He was perfectly fine, normal, healthy. He was fixing to go camping, got groceries, got everything in the camper ready to go. He was a paramedic. He came in my grandparents' house and sat down on the couch, and long story short, quit breathing. They called an ambulance. When they got there, Jake knew him because he worked with them, and he was like, I'm fine, you know, I don't know what happened. They left, and then it happened again, and they came back. He never woke up. Got him to the hospital. When they got him to the hospital, he coded, and they did CPR. They intubated him, and when they did, instead of going down his airway, they went through his esophagus, and he lost oxygen to his brain and was clinically brain dead. So he was taken off life support 2 days later. So tragic. I mean, like, one day he's here and boom, you don't know. And that's so scary. I know he died November 19th. the last time I talked to him was Halloween. I took my kids trick-or-treating and he talked my head off. He followed us to the car and talked and talked and talked. And I had so many places to go, and I remember sitting there thinking, please hush, I gotta leave, please, I got so many places to go. Had I known that was the last time I'd ever talked to him, I would have talked all night long. I would have talked his head off. And you know, you can't go back and change it, but a lesson in it that you don't know what your last words are going to be to somebody, and you don't know when the last time you're going to see anybody. I mean, I may be here today and going tomorrow. Y'all may be here and going tomorrow. Well, you don't know what you have in store. What God, I mean, and thank God we don't. And thank God he sees what we don't. But that's what happened to Jake. When is Lexi's due date and how's her blood pressure and back? Her blood pressure is amazing. Oh, shoot. Hang on. Hold up. Gotta find another cracker box. Oh Lord, I just found more gifts. Okay, I don't like to wrap my stuff in good boxes. Like Kenny has an egg box for her egg shoes, but I don't want to wrap anything in that. And Allison open it and see an egg box or whatever and be like, I have eggs, and then open it and it'd be like a $5 t-shirt. So I always try to wrap it in something that they're going to be like, oh, hands. And then when they open it, they're going to be like, oh, that's awesome. So anyway, there's that. I did find more things in the closet that I had in. Everything else is wrapped. But as far as I know, Lexi's blood pressure has been amazing. She's cut back on sodium. She's tried to chill out and not stress over every little thing. That hasn't even happened yet and probably won't ever happen. That's Lexi. So far, she's done really, really good. I know with if you have blood pressure issues, I'm sure it'll come back. I mean, it can come back, I guess. I mean, you just never know. So they're just monitoring her and just keeping an eye on her. And so far, so good. So yeah, Allie's gonna be like light bulbs, and then it's gonna be something else, something better. But somebody said, when is her due date? Congratulations on the baby. What are you most excited about? Her due date's the middle of March. Thank you, I'm so excited. It's our first grandbaby, so I said I feel like our second grandbaby's gonna be gypped because it's like, I mean, is it old news when it's your second one? I don't know. Oh no, there's something else, hang on. So what am I most excited about? I'm excited to have a grandbaby. I mean, I'm so excited. I love babies, I love it. But I'm most excited, I know Lexi already loves this baby more than life. I mean, I know. It's different with a mom. It's in your belly. I mean, it's part of you. And the love and the realness of it's there from the beginning. But I feel like it's not always there in the beginning with Payne. It's just like, you know, until Lexi started showing and we did the nursery and things like that, it wasn't really real to Hunter. But I cannot wait to see Hunter's face when this baby's born and to see the love that he has for this little baby girl, because they don't even know love until you know the love you have for a kid. And I can't wait. So excited. I'm just, you know, praying and trusting that everything's gonna be okay and she's, you know, we're gonna have a healthy baby and healthy mama, and can't ask for any more than that. Oh, I was gonna tell you guys. So we got this little jar at Hobby Lobby. You see the polka dots? It's polka dot. And it's got a little crystal on top. We started a little jar for them, and what that's for is that's hospital money. Like when they're in the hospital and they need to go, like Hunter's gonna run and get Chick-fil-A for Lexi or for himself, or they don't want hospital food, they want this or that, or if Lexi needs something, or right when the baby comes home, if it needs formula, you know, run out and get this or that, or supper. That's what that's for. So I'm gonna cash that. It's change, and it's anytime I have an extra 10 or 20 or whatever, I'll stick it down that jar. But Lexi will be out of work. She'll be out of work at least 2 months and not get paid for that. So they're gonna struggle, I know, on one income for a while. So you all know how it is, and Hunter will probably take a week or two off, so that's vacation pay with no overtime. And I know those checks aren't going to be as good as normal. So I know they're going to struggle a little bit maybe. I mean, you do. When you're starting out, you do. I just want them to have it. I don't want them to have to worry about anything. I wish I was to the point to where I could just, my kids wouldn't have to worry. But you know, worrying's good and struggling's good, and it teaches you. But I don't ever want my kids to need something and not tell me. Like, it just breaks my heart to think that I can't buy milk until payday, or I can't buy detergent until like Friday, or that breaks my heart. I hate that. What is this? We don't do bows because the cats tear them all to pieces. So, I mean, I ain't buying $6 pack of bows from cats to chew them off presents. Not today. So anyway, I just thought that was a good idea to start that little jar, and they will at least have some money to run them. But let's see. I wrote down some questions out of all of my messages and comments. Okay, so Monjaro. I always have a million questions about Monjaro. I don't know much about it. You can just Google it and research it. It did bring my A1C down drastically, and I lost about 30 pounds quickly. My mom just started Monjaro a couple of weeks ago, so I'm so excited to see how she does on it. My brother lost about 20 or 30 pounds on it too, so I'm excited to see. My mom is pre-diabetic. Her A1C is a little high, so that's good. That'll be good for her, and my brother's was too. His A1C was high, so it brought that down. And yeah, that's all I know about Monjaro. Monjaro makes me feel like death. It makes me feel like I've been beat with a baseball bat. I ache so bad that sometimes I have to just sit in the tub in Epsom salt because my muscles hurt so bad. With Monjaro, is it worth it? Absolutely, every single second of it, because when my A1C was 13, I felt like crap. I couldn't get off the couch. I feel brand new. I mean, I didn't know how bad I felt until I felt good. You know what I mean? So, Monjaro, that's about it. That's all I know about it, really. Okay, I've been on YouTube 1 year. I was monetized last year at this time, right before Christmas. So, I have a lot of people that message me and say they'd like to start a channel, they're scared, any advice, things like that. What I'll say is, if you want to start a YouTube channel, go for it. You'll never know if you don't try. If you try and fail, at least you know. I mean, I would hate to sit around and not know. Lost my name, yeah. But it's a lot of work, and if you're just starting out, you have to be passionate about it. You have to love it, or you'll hate it. You have to. You have to be patient. The Lord's taught me so much patience through doing YouTube. There's a lot of highs, there's a lot of lows. You'll have a video that has 50,000 views, and you've made $500 on that video, or $600, and then you'll have videos that tank, and you put a whole lot of time and work in them, and maybe they'll only be at $30 or $40. I've had people ask me how much I make, and I have told some people. You know, I talk to Mandy Flores a lot. I talked to Kelly on from Kelly's Corner. I talked to Jessica from Jessie Christine. I've not talked to Emily in a while, Emily Jackson. I've not talked to her in a little bit, but I think she's coming back to YouTube maybe. I think I've seen a video on that. But they all say the same thing. You know, there's a lot of highs, there's a lot of lows. You have to be patient. I try not to worry about numbers, subscribers, views, the amount that video paid me. I try to not focus on that. Because when you do, my mind goes there, and I focus on that, and I don't need to focus on that. I need to focus on my devotional. I need to focus on cleaning my house to the best of my ability, or painting, or doing what I'm doing for somebody. And I have to stay focused. I have to, I can't focus on numbers. I can't get off track. If I get off track, the devil's going to tell me I'm not enough. You're not enough here, you're not enough here, you're not enough here. When God tells me you're devotional, you're enough, you're chosen, you're worthy, you're known. You know, those are the things. You can go either way. And when I go down this way, I get in a really bad place. And I can't do that. Is it worth it? Like the money, is the pay worth it? I wouldn't say go quit your full-time job to do YouTube, because it don't work like that. Luckily, I was in the position that I was okay financially, and I didn't really need the income. So that's a perfect time to start YouTube, because it takes you a little bit to start making money. I was monetized in December, the end of December. you have to make $100 before YouTube will pay out. And I know a lot of people said it took them a few months to make $100 to get paid. I was very blessed because I didn't have to wait a month. I've got a check every single month since. My first check was like $350, $400. And now, what do I make? July, when I was at my aunt's house, she paid me very well, very, very well, to help her do her house. And then I painted my friend's cabinets, and she paid me well. And then from my YouTube, because I posted almost every day, from my YouTube pay that month altogether, including my YouTube pay and what I made from them, I made about $5,000 or $6,000 in that month. You know, there was a time when I thought I'd never make it. I would never get monetized. There was a time I thought that I'd never reach $100. And then you turn around and you think, thank you. You know, I do get paid to do a lot of jobs. Some jobs I don't. I don't charge. I'm like, whatever. If you want to pay me, you can. If you can't, that's fine. I'm here to help. I don't care. You know, I'll help you for free. A lot of people do hand me money and won't take it back. So, just off my YouTube videos. For instance, when I redid my mom's kitchen, so far that video has paid me $550. So when I was at my aunt's and I was posting every day, I was making over $100 a day. So, you know, do the math. That's a lot of money a month for me. I mean, I've never made that much money in a month, probably. So, you know, the more you post, the more you make. So when I redid the bonus room upstairs, part 1, made $106 this month. That's probably not a lot to some, and I know there's people who make a crap ton of money, but just for filming what I do and feeling like I'm helping somebody along the way as well, I think that's pretty good. So if you're serious about YouTube and you put your heart into it and you post consistently, you have to post consistently. I would say at least 3 times a week. Post as much as you can and just stay consistent. It's real easy to get frustrated with YouTube, and like I said, when you start looking at your numbers, you're gonna don't worry about your numbers. If that's what you're meant to do, then you're gonna make it. And if it's not, you know, a lot of people will start channels and they're like, I don't like it, it's too much time, it's too much work, I don't like editing, or I don't like dragging a camera around, things like that. My thing is, I don't feel like I'm dragging a camera around. I feel like it's you all, because there's so many of you. Like, I know so many of you personally now, and when I'm talking, I feel like I'm talking to you, and I feel like I'm talking to a camera. So I just feel like I have friends here with me, besides the cat. And so as far as the filming part, I don't mind that. I just feel like y'all are here. I just feel like I have to, you know, pick you up and carry you sometimes, but that's okay. But Lord have mercy, I ain't a rapper. Whose even is that? Y'all do that? Y'all wrap a present? You're like, oh my gosh, who is it? I've had to unwrap them before. You know, I love editing. I love editing. I feel like you work so hard and you're so exhausted. There's times I don't enjoy editing. Like, there's times, like, I would go to my aunt's and I'd work all day and I tried to do daily vlogs, and I would come home and I felt like through editing I was doing it all over again, and it would be like 12 or 1 in the morning by the time I would get it edited. I'd have to wake up at like 5:30, voice it over, make a thumbnail, post it, take a shower, get Allie to school, and go back to Debbie's. So I was exhausted. But I gained so many subscribers through that, and I made a lot of money. I made a lot of money from her and from my views and all that, and I felt like that really helped my channel grow. So when people say YouTubers don't work, yes, they do. I mean, if I was just sitting here and this was what my channel consisted of, and I was just talking or just cleaning and just, you know, showing you what I do in a day or whatever, a random day, yeah, it's not too bad. It's, you know, it's probably easy money just to film what you do. But I kind of take offense to people that say I don't work or it's not a real job, because I bust my butt to go house to house to help people. And that's physical labor. That's a lot of work. It pays me. It's what I do. You know, I get paid. And I help people. It's a win-win. And it's where the Lord's put me. So I'm going to embrace it, love it. And I'm going to put my whole heart into it. And I'm going to overshare it. I'm going to make mistakes. And I'm going to let you all down from time to time, I'm sure. But you know what? I'll do my best. And that's all y'all expect out of me, I know. But it is a double-edged sword as far as being on YouTube. I know that you do get a lot of rude comments, and you're not everybody's cup of tea, and that's fine. That's why there's so many different channels. Somebody asked me one time if I ever thought about counseling or ministering. And my reply was, I really need counseling and I need ministry too. And I don't ever want to act like I'm perfect or that my relationship with God is better than anybody else's or anything like that. It's the complete opposite. I mean, if it's sin, I've probably done it. We have an elf clue. Okay, off subject. Anyway, Kennedy and Heather came up with the idea that Heather was going to pay for Kennedy to get a tattoo on her wrist or on the side of her arm or something for Christmas. And I said absolutely not. Reason being, if Kennedy wants a tattoo, Kennedy's going to work and pay for her own tattoo. And Kennedy needs to think long and hard about that because I've got 3 of them, and if I could redo it, I would have never done it. When you're young, you do things on impulse and you don't think about having that for the rest of your life. And to just be completely honest with you, it kind of hurts my mama heart to see one of my kids get a tattoo. I told Heather, I told them both, I said, we are not celebrating the birth of Christ by going and getting a tattoo. We're not. Nothing wrong. If you have tattoos, nothing wrong with it. I have 3, like I said. But no, man, no. Not today. Not for Christmas, no. So the deal with that, y'all crooked. So the deal with Heather is, Heather never had kids of her own. She always wanted kids. She married a man that already had a kid, so he didn't want any more, and it didn't happen for her. I told her she's still a young girl, but she never had kids. Her and Kennedy for years have always just been super close. Kennedy loved her. They just clicked. And all my kids love Heather. You know, she's been my best friend for years. She didn't have to buy formula and diapers and Happy Meals, so she's a little more well off than myself. And buying for kids and fixing kids' rooms up and prom dress shop, like there's so many things that Heather wants to do for them because she never got to experience that herself. And that's a fine line with me because I let her somewhat in the beginning because my kids were going through a hard time, felt sorry for them, new things, going shopping, things like that, got it off their mind, and Heather enjoyed doing it. So for a while, I was okay with it. But then it got to where Allison said one day after a basketball game, she was done playing basketball, she said in the car on the way home, she said, I want an Apple Watch. All my friends have Apple Watches and I don't have one. Da, da, da. Well, then Heather told me, she was like, I'm going at like 7 o'clock in the morning to Walmart and I'm getting her an Apple Watch. And she's going to wake up to an Apple Watch. She did. The little snothead woke up and she had an Apple Watch. And I'm just kidding when I say snothead. I love my kids. They're amazing. They're great kids. Please don't take that the wrong way. I know some people will. Snothead. She called her kids snothead. But anyway, they can be a snothead sometimes. Oh. But then I noticed if my kids said they wanted it, she made it happen. So I noticed that my kids would be like, oh, I would like to have this, just in a random conversation. So Heather would hear it and they would get it. So I said no more. No. Every now and then I don't care if she does something for them, but we're not taking advantage of anybody. And you don't need all those things. You know, I have schooled my kids and they are schooled. But, you know, I had to set boundaries because Heather, like I said, loved it. She was loving it. And I understand that, but at the same time, my kids are kids and they're gonna be kids, and yeah. So anyway, we had to stop that. Didn't want high octane smart kids. But no, my kids were very appreciative. They never really took it, you know, kids are just gonna be kids, and I don't want my kids expecting people to buy them things like that. They had fun. It was fun for a season. Now you're working for whatever you get. And they do have to work for what they get. I'm having to tape the backs of the sticker, the name tags that I peeled off. So I don't have name tags. I don't have my life together. Listen, this video should make you feel a lot better about yourself. That's what I'm going to title it. If you're a mom and you're struggling, watch this video. I do have good kids. You just got to keep them in check every now and then, for sure. I love my kids. There would be nothing I would choose over my kids. And I will not keep them up if my kids don't work and support themselves and try. They will get no help from me. Of course, I'm all let my kids go hungry, but you know what I mean. If my kids are trying and they're struggling, I'll help when I can. And that's one thing about YouTube is it does give me extra money to help my kids. I used YouTube money to buy that stroller and car seat and the nursery furniture and the paint and all that. I mean, whose is this? I did not even look. Of course their name's gonna be on the other flipping side. Ugh. Oh, I could just look. It's taped. Of course it's taped. Why would I take a box shut? Why would I do a lot of things that I do? Okay, you are rigging. Okay. Lexi is Lexi's. I ain't gonna lie and tell y'all that I'm gonna go buy name tags either, because I'm not. Okay guys, I forgot to end out this video and I'm not going to have a chance to read my devotional in this one, but I have so much more filmed chasing this crazy elf around town and an update on all of that, and I've got so much filmed. I just need to sit down and edit it. It's just been a busy week trying to get everything for Christmas done, but I just want to share a little bit with you guys, talk to y'all. Sometimes I feel like I go forever and don't just do a Q&A or just sit down and talk to y'all or do a live or anything like that. So maybe this just will keep you company while you wrap Christmas gifts or make you feel better about yourself, because I clearly don't have my life together either. So grab you some cracker boxes, cut you some paper up and use as name tags and wrap with me. But remember, I love you so much and Jesus loves you unconditionally. Don't ever forget that. And I will see you guys soon for another one.
You and I wanna have the whole